All right, so I literally just came back now from the mall with the new Osmo Action 6, and today I'm just going to unbox this camera, see what's inside, see briefly how it compares to the Action 5 Pro, and then I'm going to do a quick setup with my settings to get the absolute best image quality possible from this camera. So let's start. Open it up here. All right, so here is basically what you get inside the box. You get the Osmo Action 6, obviously. You also get a battery. I think it's the same battery as on the Action 5 Pro and Osmo 360. Then you get the mount for action camera mount, basically the screw. Then also USB-C to USB-C charging cable and like a sticky mount, like an action camera sticky mount for a helmet or a car or something like that. All right, first things first. Does the Action 5 Pro battery fit inside this camera? Okay, Action 5 Pro battery does fit inside the camera. Let me just see if it turns on. Okay, it does turn on. That's awesome. All right, another test I want to do. I have here a vlog cage from Ulanzi for the Action 4 and 5 Pro. Let's see if it fits the new Action 6. It does not fit the Action 6. Okay, so it does not go inside. They definitely changed the body design of the camera. And then also I have freewheel ND filters for my Action 5 Pro. Let's see if these filters fit on the Action 6. No, they do not fit. So here is how both of these cameras compare to each other physically, at least. The Action 6 is definitely slightly bigger than the Action 5 Pro, but it's only a little bit, I would say like maybe 10%, not 10% even, maybe like 5-7% bigger, only slightly. But I have here like a scale. Let's see if it is any heavier or not. So Action 6 with the battery is 149.2 grams, and then the Action 5 Pro is 145.4 grams. So it is 4 grams heavier, but it's not really noticeable when holding it in the hands, but it's definitely slightly bulkier than the Action 5 Pro. All right, let's turn on the camera and set it up. And I'll probably have to connect the camera to the DJI application on my phone. So let's do that. That's one thing that I actually don't really like about DJI cameras. You must have a smartphone in order for you to turn it on, basically, to start using it. All right, there is a firmware update. I'm going to download this and then start basically tweaking the settings. So I just finished updating the firmware. Now let's get into the camera settings. First, I'm going to set the resolution to 4K in here, 25p. And then in here, I'm gonna set it to landscape aspect ratio. I don't really do vertical videos. Field of view, I'm gonna set to standard de-warp because it looks the most natural. And then for the stabilization, I'm gonna leave it at rock steady for now. Maybe later on, I'm going to do a couple of tests and see which one performs the best, but rock steady for my kind of work is more than good enough. And then in here, I'm gonna go to the settings for the exposure and white balance, set it to pro settings. And then for the white balance, I'm only going to use manual white balance because it gives the most accurate colors, and then it makes it much easier to color grade in post-production. And then for the exposure, I'm also gonna use manual exposure. Ideally, the ISO, I'll keep it as low as possible at 100. And then the shutter speed at 1/50 once I'm gonna get new ND filters for this camera. However, do keep in mind that if you're gonna set the shutter speed as low as 1/50 or double the frame rate, you might introduce jittery artifacts because the stabilization on action cameras heavily relies on high shutter speeds for the best performance. On the Action 5 Pro, it wasn't too bad, but was still noticeable. If you want the best results when it comes to shooting at a slow shutter speed, then use something like the DJI Pocket 3. But regardless, for now, just to see the screen better, I'm going to use, let's see, just ISO 3200, but of course, 100 ISO is going to be the best. Then quality priority, what is this? I think this is something, some artificial enhancement or something. Let me see what's that. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna set the color to D-Log M. Color recovery on. It's basically going to act as like a preview LUT. And then variable aperture in here. This is definitely a new setting with this camera. It has variable aperture, which as far as I know, it's the first camera that offers variable aperture. I mean, the first action camera that offers variable aperture. And here it says fixed f2.6 aperture, minimum focus distance 40 centimeters, which is quite far for an action camera. But if you want to increase the minimum focus distance, you should shoot at f4. That's probably what I'm going to do to get most of the shot as sharp as possible, because shooting at f4 is going to make the footage with this camera significantly sharper than something like with the Action 5 Pro. But honestly, I'll have to kind of experiment with this and see which setting delivers the best image quality. Obviously, if you're going to shoot in low light, f2.6 is going to be better because it's going to open up the aperture and then, you know, gather more light into the sensor basically. But for daylight, f4 should be more than good enough. And then for the audio settings, I'm not really going to touch anything. Maybe I'm going to disable noise reduction for the wind. I don't really like this. And then maybe audio, I'm gonna set to mono. And let's see if I can change the bitrate. So here are the quick shot, gesture, settings. What's this? Full screen display. I don't really need that. Speech, lock, orientation. Let's go to the settings and see if I can change the bitrate. I wanna set it to high as much as I can. And then bitrate, we do have bitrate in here. I'm gonna set it to high to get, you know, the most amount of bitrate so I can much easier color grade in post-production. And I think for the rest, maybe I'm gonna enable grid to make composing the shots a bit easier. And then in here, obviously, you can choose either the internal storage or an SD card. I'm probably going to use an SD card because 50 gigabytes is a bit low. I would much prefer if it was the same as on the Osmo 360. I believe they give like 100 gigs, and 100 gigs would be more than good enough for me, but 50 gigs is a bit low, so I might put an SD card in here. Actually, there is a setting I forgot to tweak for the sharpness and noise reduction. I'm gonna set both of them to -1. Because that's what I used on my Action 5 Pro and the Pocket 3. So don't forget, if you have the cage from the Action 5 Pro or Action 4, it is not going to fit the new Action 6. Also, the ND filters, if you have ND filters from the Action 5 Pro or Action 4, they're not going to fit the Action 6, but at least the batteries from the Action 4, 5 Pro and Osmo 360 do fit the Action 6. Anyhow, thank you for watching. If you have any tips, comments and whatnot, let me know down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content about this camera. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.